has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking all things Star Wars The Force Awakens spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled because you really do not want to be spoiled when you go see this movie for the first time, I suggest you go check out my spoiler-free review, which I shall leave somewhere on the screen for you to go and watch and enjoy. But today we're going to be talking spoilers. So major spoiler alert, major spoiler alert. Now, after watching the film several times, I can safely say that Star Wars The Force Awakens is my favourite movie of 2015, hands down. The rewatchability of this movie is insane, and each time you will feel the emotion and the happiness and the joy you felt first time watching it. It's incredible. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Now I'm just going to go through the spoilers character by character or plot point by plot point because I have literally written zero good notes on this. Literally my phone says Ben Solo equals Kylo Ren. Detailed notes. Speaking of Kylo Ren, if you guys have watched my spoiler-free review for this movie, you know that I loved Kylo Ren as a villain in this film. He was manipulative, evil, you could see his motives, he was threatening, you could actually see the real threat in him being this character, and I just love what they did with his character, and I love how Adam Driver plays him as well. And it's revealed in the film, although there were speculations beforehand that either Rey or Kylo Ren were related to either Luke Skywalker or Han Solo and Leia Organa, and it's revealed in the film that Kylo Ren is actually Ben Solo, the son of Han Solo and General Leia Organa, and he was recruited by Luke Skywalker, his uncle, to form this new group of Jedi, and he was the one that went wrong. He was the bad egg, and Ben Solo was manipulated by Supreme Leader Snoke to become the leader of the Knights of Ren and become Kylo Ren, this villain, and have him turn against Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, his father, and his mother, Leia Organa. We saw in the trailer that he wanted to finish what Darth Vader started. He was obviously misinformed that he actually turned good in the end of Return of the Jedi. He saw the light. Would have liked to have gone more into kind of his past and how he turned into the bad guy, and how kind of Han and Leia grew apart when their son turned to the dark side, but also I think there is more to discover in the next films to come, as with many other characters, with them being kind of left out of the picture with like Captain Phasma and Poe Dameron, which I'll get onto in a minute. However, I think for the first time I kind of wanted to know kind of why they grew apart, because they seemed very, very strong at the end of Return of the Jedi, but after their son went to the dark side, they both said that they went back to what they knew, and that made me really sad. I was really, really sad to see them grow apart and kind of them being back as their characters. Obviously Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, General Leia, whichever one you want to call her, because she is obviously royalty, and Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Having them back, you could definitely see they've aged and they've been through a lot in the past 30 years since the end of Return of the Jedi. So moving on from Kylo Ren to Han Solo, probably the most beloved character in the Star Wars universe. It was great seeing him back. I love seeing Harrison Ford get back into the costume, get back into the Millennium Falcon, and him and Chewie being back as well. It was great to see them for a majority of the film. And it was heartbreaking to see Han Solo die. And that's where you feel the real threat from Kylo Ren, when he's like, "Father, please show me the light side. I don't want to be torn apart anymore." And he's holding his lightsaber and the sun goes in, so the power source, the weapon, is fully charged, and he keeps holding on to it. And he just stabs him with his lightsaber, and it's heartbreaking to see. Honestly, we have Rey and Finn looking from above and Chewie screaming because Han Solo has just died and him falling off the platform. And each time I've seen it 3 times now, I just gasp and my heart breaks a little bit more every single time I see it. And it's a great way to introduce them as new characters, and this being a new story. We have the old characters like Leia, Han and Luke coming back into the franchise, but it's not their story. We needed to feel the threat from Kylo Ren, and we also needed to restart the story with kind of a new leader and a new Jedi in Rey. So let's talk about Rey. There is some speculations that she is a relative of Luke Skywalker, and I guess this kind of spoils things for episode 8, but it's kind of obvious in the film that I actually think Rey is the daughter of Luke Skywalker, and she was put on Jakku by maybe her adoptive parents and left there to scavenge for herself and left in the custody of others. And there are little Easter eggs in the film that Rey is related to Luke Skywalker. I mean, she is the one that uses the Force to get Luke's lightsaber from Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is trying so hard to get his uncle's lightsaber, and Rey just takes it. It is the lightsaber that Luke loses in the end of Empire Strikes Back, and they find it with Maz Kanata, and there's this flashback scene that shows you everything. It shows you so much without even telling you anything. There's hardly any dialogue in this flashback scene, but it is done so well. This scene foreshadows so much. It foreshadows the battle they have on the snowy Starkiller with Rey and Kylo Ren. It foreshadows her seeing this island with Luke Skywalker, which we see at the end of the film, and it gives us a flashback of when she was left on Jakku to scavenge for herself. And there are other Easter eggs in the film that Rey is related to Luke Skywalker. She has a doll that looks like Luke Skywalker, and she has a helmet that looks like Luke's X-Wing helmet, and it's just so interesting, and I can't wait to get to episode 8 to explore that more, because obviously we left on a cliffhanger with Rey holding out Luke's blue lightsaber to him on the island, and it's kind of like a Yoda-Luke training session that is about to begin. From the trailers we saw, we thought that Finn was going to be the new Jedi from seeing him light up the blue lightsaber to fight Kylo Ren in the battle at the end of the film, but in the film we actually see that he is very easily defeated and Rey's unconscious, and then she comes back to life and grabs the lightsaber using the Force, and they have probably one of the most epic lightsaber battles I've ever seen in a Star Wars film, because I just had chills everywhere watching it, and I was like, yes, we have a strong female Jedi going on. I absolutely love Rey as a character. I loved her before that battle sequence, but it was just insanely good. And her using the Force when Kylo Ren says, I can teach you the ways of the Force, you need to be taught, and she was like the Force, and she kind of had control of herself. I love that epic lightsaber scene at the end of that film. I could watch it on loop for days. I have a feeling in episode 8 we're going to explore more into Rey's character, why she was left on Jakku to scavenge for herself, and why she is Force sensitive, whether or not she is the daughter of Luke Skywalker or not. Going on from Rey to Finn in this film, who are two of my favourite characters in the film. Obviously we thought Finn was going to be the new Jedi from the trailer, and thankfully the trailer didn't spoil that. Everyone was kind of up in the air, really raging that they'd revealed who was going to be the new Jedi, but he went from being a stormtrooper to someone who didn't want to be a stormtrooper to being a fake resistance fighter. Those scenes were so funny in the film. My spoiler free review was so spoiler free I didn't even mention half of the jokes. I absolutely loved, like, when he was so insistent that he was part of the resistance. He was like, yeah, I'm part of the resistance, yeah. And that scene where he was trying to get BB-8 to reveal the location of the resistance to him, and BB-8 flicks the lighter up, I was like, is BB-8 flipping Finn off right now? Because that is hilarious, and every time I've seen it I've died of laughing. I've heard other people see this going on in the film, where at the beginning of the film when you see it for the first time you kind of feel like there's this romance blossoming between Rey and Finn, and you see that just because Finn asks Rey, it's like, why do you have to go back to Jakku? Is it your family? Do you have a cute boyfriend? And the fact of the matter is, I love their chemistry so much. I wouldn't mind if in future films they had kind of a Han and Leia relationship where they got into a relationship. However, I'm glad they didn't play up to it so much. I'm glad there wasn't a full romance in the first film, because they're going places all the time. They're moving from place to place. There is seriously no time to put some cliched romance in there. Although I love their friendship, I wouldn't mind them having a relationship like Han and Leia in the next few films. I love their relationship together. I think they were great. But another relationship I love of Finn's is with Poe Dameron. I mean, they meet together for the first time when Poe is captured by Kylo Ren to be tortured and find out where the resistance is, and he helps him escape, and it's like, oh yeah, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do to let you go. You just need a pilot, don't you? I need a pilot. I just love how they connected. He originally had a stormtrooper name. Poe Dameron gave him the name Finn, and I just love the friendship that's blossoming there. I think it's great. I also like that we don't really know much about Finn's past. Obviously he's a stormtrooper, he's taken from a family he will never know, and he is trained to serve the First Order, and I love the fact that he has changed his ways. I really want to know more about how he changed his ways, and is it just the morals, or has something gone wrong with him as a stormtrooper? As much as I could talk about Finn all day, moving swiftly on to Poe Dameron, who is like my third favourite character in this film. All three of them are great. I literally couldn't choose a favourite. That's like choosing a favourite child, choosing a favourite character in Star Wars The Force Awakens. But Poe Dameron, the best pilot in the Resistance. Oscar Isaacs plays him amazingly. I mean, he isn't in the film that much, and it is insinuated in the beginning of the film that he has actually died in the crash of the TIE fighter. However, in the trailer we see him, you know, in his X-Wing being all freaking awesome, so I guess that kind of spoiled it in the trailer. However, even though Poe Dameron isn't actually in the film that much, I love that we see a character and a personality and a presence in the film, even though he isn't in it for that long, and I'm so looking forward to seeing him in the next 3 episodes. I think Poe Dameron is kind of the new Han Solo. When Poe Dameron speaks to Kylo Ren for the first time, they're face to face, and he's just showing his sassy side, and he says, "How does this work? You talk first or I talk first? He just has no fear. Poe Dameron is sassy, he knows he's a great pilot, and he has no fear. I mean, he's obviously not force sensitive, as Kylo Ren was able to get the information that he'd put the piece of the map to Luke Skywalker in BB-8 out of him. He's obviously not force sensitive, but he's basically the new Han Solo. And I love him. That's another thing I've failed to mention in this review so far. The main plotline of The Force Awakens is that Luke Skywalker's gone missing after the bad egg happened. After Kylo Ren turned against Luke Skywalker, he went off to this island because he felt responsible for turning Ben to the dark side and also for splitting up Han and Leia. And the whole storyline of this is that Kylo Ren is trying to locate the map that he already has from Empire Records and the piece of the map that is missing that is hidden within BB-8. That's the whole storyline of this, and I haven't even mentioned it. I'm doing such a great job. And that's why this film is kind of a mixture between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, because we do have the hunt for Luke Skywalker, like Darth Vader had the hunt for Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back, and we have the information inserted into a droid like we did in A New Hope. The character I quickly have to mention is Maz Kanata, who's played by Lupita Nyong'o in the film through motion capture, which I thought looked epic in the movie. I was so interested in her character because she was so old and kind of wise and had all these Jedi artifacts in her cellar, including Luke's blue lightsaber. I really want to go more into her character and how she came across Luke's blue lightsaber and all these Jedi artifacts. I think she was a really cool character, but kind of skimmed over a little too quickly. Speaking of characters who are skimmed over too quickly in this movie, as I said in my spoiler-free review, Captain Phasma, just disappointment. They were all bigging her up to be this massive female Star Wars villain and she was going to be epic as a stormtrooper and as a character. And Captain Phasma literally does nothing in this film apart from lower some shields so that the X-Wing fight pilots can come in and blow up the Starkiller. Great. I know Kathleen Kennedy, who is a producer of the film, has already stated that they have big plans for Captain Phasma in episode 8. It's just that they bigged her up way too much in this film that I was just completely disappointed by Captain Phasma as a character. She had about maximum of 10 lines in this movie and all she ever did was do stuff for Kylo Ren or lower the shields. As I said, she actually lowered the shield. She was so weak that she gave in to Han Solo and Finn. That's one of the main problems I had, that if you're a really good villain and if you are committed to your cause, if she was committed to the First Order, she wouldn't have given in so easily. But also that scene resulted into a very big Easter egg and one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard Han Solo say about the trash chute. It was literally hilarious. I guess there's nothing really spoilery to talk about when it comes to the droids BB-8, R2-D2 and C-3PO, as C-3PO and R2-D2 aren't actually in the film that much, apart from C-3PO has lost his arm and has a red arm now. Was C-3PO the character that got his arm chopped off? Because I didn't see anyone else get their arm chopped off in the movie, so I'm going to assume that. And R2-D2 has been in sleep mode ever since his master Luke Skywalker has gone off in hiding, basically. And obviously at the end of the movie, since Rey comes into the Resistance, the Force is awakened again, hence the title The Force Awakens, and R2-D2 wakes up and they have the completed map to where Luke Skywalker is. I always thought BB-8 was Rey's droid, as all the toys have them together, but it's actually Poe Dameron's droid, and I love their little friendship. It's so adorable, but BB-8 has such an effect on everyone in this movie just because he has such a personality as a droid. He's almost as sassy as R2-D2 and C-3PO. It took me 3 times to notice that Daniel Craig was the stormtrooper who came in to guard Rey, and Rey used her Jedi mind tricks to unleash her and leave the door open and drop his weapon. That was hilarious to me when I noticed it the 3rd time I watched this movie. Also, that was such a badass scene because we were like, oh shit, she's force sensitive. This is the real deal. Rey is the new Jedi. And rounding this up, I think I'm all spoilered out. I literally don't think I have missed one little thing from the movie that is spoilery that I could talk about. If I have, please let me know down below in the comments. And what was your favourite part of the movie? You can all talk spoilers now. You are free to roam the comments with spoilers. If you guys like this spoiler review, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing lots more TV reviews and movie reviews for you guys very, very soon. And if I don't see you guys before Christmas, happy holidays, happy whatever you are celebrating. As usual, all my social media links, including my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Letterboxd, will be down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I have for you today. Bye!